Welcome back to the Reckless CEO podcast. Man, I got a good one in here today, man. Mr. Lee Haight.
We got the fire coming for you.
Man, I'm excited for this podcast, brother. It's been a long time coming, right? We've talked about kind of doing it virtual, this and that. I came
so
down
much better in person.
way better in person. Get you in the studio, get the vibe, get the feel of it. It's cool, man. It's
feeling
cool.
reckless.
It's what it's supposed to make you feel.
Yes.
It's what's supposed to make you feel. So, Lee, dude, appreciate you coming in town. We'll kind of dive into a little bit of, why you're here and some other things as well. But, I just want to say I appreciate you for coming up. I know that, you're a busy man. You got a lot of shit going on. So, the fact that you were willing to come up and spend 2 days with us, man, means a lot. And I appreciate all that.
Bro, it's my honor, dude. You have done an amazing job. There's a movement going on here. I want to be a part of it. And to be honest with you, I just want to swagger jack some of that vibe, bro. You got it going on here.
The vibe is the tribe.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's exciting. I think that was one of the biggest reasons of wanting to get you up here is obviously connect with a couple other people, but help you kind of see, what we're doing here, right? Because I think that it's a little different than your standard roofer vibe.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Right? Like
you're not a standard roofer, bro.
No.
But we're raising the status for blue collar, huh?
Yeah, man. And we got a big event. You got a big event coming up here in September.
Man. And that's September 1st through 3rd, Blue Collar American Dream Conference. Dave Meltzer, Brad Lee, Wes Watson, you, me, whole bunch of other people. Nick Santasanos, Gilbert Burns running the seminar. Dude, it's gonna be off the chain.
Dude, you got. I was one thing I was telling somebody yesterday. I'm like, your ability to pull people together, right? You have there's a skill set in putting together a lineup like that.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there's a lot of masterminds, man.
It's called cut the fucking check.
Hey, man, money pays, dude.
Hey, look, whenever I was going to college, I used to think a fraternity was stupid, that people were paying for friends to be a part of like rituals, and then I made a bunch of jokes and made fun of people in fraternities, and dropped out of college. My buddies who were in a fraternity, I came to hang out with them 3 years later, and then the parties, the girls, all the other benefits. I'm like, damn, I was missing something here.
Right,
maybe
man.
paying for friends is worth it. And then as a businessman, pay for play networking has leveled up everything in my life, and I call it the Trojan horse. Like, be willing to put your money where your mouth is, get in the room where the connections are, and see where you can add value, because there is where the magic is made.
Well, dude, that, and I think one of the biggest pieces to me that's always helped me when I've invested into these things is it humanizes people.
Yeah.
Right? I heard something the other day. A guy said, if you want your kids to believe that they can make it to the pros, don't let them watch Sports Center.
Right.
Right? Because they make these guys feel like it's just a level that you can't be at. It's the commodity of it, right? And so when you see these people through social medias and their presence and their following and all of these things, it is intimidating, right? You're like, oh man, I'm never gonna get there. How do they do it? But then you get in the room with these people and you have conversations with them, and you're like, fuck, they ain't no different than me.
Hell yeah, dude.
Right? They got a little extra sauce, and that's it.
And that's what I love about the world of social media and digital, whether it's a podcast, a YouTube, Facebook. Whenever you're able to bring the digital to the real life. And, we met a pre-med student at your event. He was a good kid coming into the business. And he was like, seems like every badass entrepreneur like you has a story where they said, it all started when I went to the conference. I didn't have the money. I went all in and everything changed.
Yeah.
Isn't that your story?
100%. That's my story. And I think that's dude, to me, the personal development, the shift was when I invested. Like I told the story yesterday, right? Like my first one was I got kind of caught up on YouTube thinking that I didn't even know what like marketing was, digital marketing was, and so like I put my application in. They called me like 10 seconds later. I'm like, this is a God thing.
Oh my!
You know what I mean? Like I had no idea, man. This was 3.5 years ago, and so I'm starting like they reach out. Hey, you got picked for this event. We want to bring you out. And I'm like, man, okay, awesome. They're like, it's 10,000, and they also like put you in the corner too to be like, you're worth it, man. You got to make this investment, right? Like they get you thinking, man, if I don't make the investment now, it's never going to happen for me.
Well, it's important because if you're reaching for help and then you go and take that action and you apply, but then you get to that precipice. When I make the analogy that's like, yeah, I want to go skydiving. Yeah, dude, I want to go, dude. And you go and you practice and you get a coach and you fucking go through the whole process. You've ever seen them on the ground on the dolly, just like flopped out. You got it packed up. You go up in the fucking airplane. You're fucking nervous. You're like, man, I don't know if I want to do this. I don't know if I want to do this. And you get to the fucking top, man. You're at 6,000 altitude. The door opens. You're like, fuck, I'm about to piss my pants. I don't know if I want to do this. Dude's strapped to your back. You get to the door, and then most of the time, what do you think most people do that are trying to apply for coaching once they get to that door?
Stop.
They fucking put their hands up.
Yeah.
They lock it up. They say, fuck, I need to think about it. I need to talk to somebody. I don't want to make a decision like this. Fuck. Oh my God, I don't want to jump out of a fucking perfectly good airplane. I don't care if there's...
It's more comfortable here.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the thing is like you're so scared to step into that uncomfortable zone.
Yeah, and so, you know, what happens to the person who does that whole, like, charade and doesn't jump? What do you think they feel like when they get back to the ground?
Oh, dude, they hate themselves. Now you just tear yourself up.
It's fucked up.
Yep.
You caused yourself torture.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
your actions don't align with your beliefs. And a lot of times when I talk with people, I deal with, like, burnout, where they're like, they don't feel like they're loving their job. And a lot of times with contractors, blue collars, you know, they get trapped in their job as an employee, whether it's they're selling the job, doing the estimates, doing the project management, being the production manager. They become a slave to it. And what happens is like their purpose, it's not aligning with their actions. They want to build this big business, be an impactful community, but they're not doing the thing. So they find themselves trapped. They're repeating the same thing, expecting different results, and then they fucking get desperate.
Yeah.
You know, and
well, I think that's one of the, I would say for us at where we're at in Columbus Roofing Company, that, you know, as a leader, you're always the ceiling, right? No matter what. And so for me, that was one thing coming into this industry was like, I don't really know anything about roofing, which was a good thing because it forced me to delegate.
Hey, let's go back, rewind this. So you got some deep blue collar roots. Before you get into roofing, before you make this $10,000 investment,
yeah,
dude, how hard is it to make $10,000 in a coal mine?
Bro,
how did you decide to go to the coal mine?
Yeah,
like,
so
what thought process led you to a fucking deep dark hole?
Yeah, no shit, right? And it wasn't just
I want to fucking hear this shit.
Yeah, so after, you know, quickly after high school, I moved to Boston, Massachusetts. I lived up there for 3 years playing junior hockey.
Okay.
Did that for 3 years.
I saw that Instagram reel. So your hockey career was like you were on the way to the NHL?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say anything. I would like to think that, right? But I mean, I did have some college offers to go on and play at school, and my last year had multiple offers on the table. I got hurt, and they pulled my scholarships. And I mean, that was kind of the start, right? That was like this spiral because it was like, I'm from Wheeling. I was this guy that finally got there. It was 2 or 2.5 years of grinding, right? And finally, my last year, I got a coach that recognized me, a coach that believed in me, the first person that saw more in me than I saw for myself, right? And I'm like, finally, dude, everything's aligned. And then boom, hurt 8 weeks in. The whole year was done for me.
And then your identity changes.
Everything changed. That's all I knew, right? To me, it was like, I'm going to be this guy. This is where I'm going, all these things. And so when that happened, it was just like kind of this spiral starts, right?
Depression.
And, yeah, I would definitely say depression. Yeah. And being able to get away from my hometown was a great thing because I was exposed to more, right? And all this stuff and what opportunities are out there. And so when it ended, now I come home. I'm like, man, like I was cool. Like I was kind of a hot shot for 3 years.
In high school, you were the man, homie.
Right, yeah.
What the fuck
happened to you, right? And so now I come home and it's humbling, right? I'm like, man, here's what I thought I was gonna be, and everyone, you know, kind of believed it, right? And then it didn't happen, where I'm like, fuck, man, now what do I do? And my dad's like, you got to get a fucking job, bro, right? If you ain't going to school, like, you got to figure it out, get working. And it was just like, man. I'm back living in my parents' basement, and at that point in Wheeling, West Virginia, man, there's not a lot of opportunities, right? No college, like there's nothing for me. I'm like, what do I do? My only skill set was hockey, and the coal mines were $15 an hour, and my dad had a friend that, you know, was in the mines, and they got me on as a, you know, one of the subcontractors. And man,
your first day in a mine, walk me through what you're fucking thinking, because I don't know what it looks like when you go in that motherfucker. But tell me what it looks like.
Yeah, and so really, man, you walk it. So you know, it's just like a big like building, right? And then the mine shaft is inside the building. And so when you walk into the building, everything's built around the mine shaft. And so you've got locker rooms in there and all this shit, right? So you walk in. I mean, hundreds of guys just blackface, right? Because they're coming up out of the mines, all this, because everything's shift work. It's mad schedule, so it's midnight, afternoon, day shift, then you swap them again, and then the weekends we do a 16-hour shift, and so I walk in, I'm seeing all this, but for me, I've always been just, you know, gritty. I figure it out. I'm gritty, you know what I mean? Like I come from that. That's just how we are. So I was like, oh man, it is what it is. fucking do it, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, man, getting in there, and we're heading down the shaft, and you get into a little cart that takes you down to your the hole that you're gonna get, like the door that'll take you into the to the mine shaft.
I'm just thinking about the Disney mine train,
bro.
Like,
crazy, man.
Thing,
and we're sitting in this thing, and it's like click, 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 click. You know what I mean? It's like you're going up the roller coaster.
Claustrophobic?
A little bit, because your ceilings, the top's no higher than this, right? Like that's where you're at. Everything is like this, pitch black. I mean, dude, you had to shit in a bucket if you wanted to use the bathroom down there. Yeah, and I mean, you had to take a lunch pail, and it was just ham sandwiches and shit. That's what we had.
No cell phone coverage.
No cell phone coverage, dude. Nothing, man. And dude, and we were in the oldest parts of the mine, because they would hire the subcontractor. Like we were the scabs and shit. They fucking dude. They'd be spray painting our shit and stuff all the time, because we were essentially taking union jobs by us going in there and doing this stuff, right? And so, we built steel sets, and what steel sets is they take you into the oldest parts of the mine, because there's so many roof falls, like the roofs are collapsing, that it's damaging the belts. And so when the belts gets damaged, it stops manufacture and production, so it shuts the mine down, right? And so like they would send us into the
most dangerous.
The most dangerous. They would send us in, and we would go in there with jackhammers and shovels. And jackhammer, because after a while the coal dust just builds up, and all of a sudden your belt's
here. Do you have
here.
any pictures from those days?
No, man.
Fuck, dog.
Yeah,
do
dude,
you know
nothing.
how much that would fucking help you on social media? Fucking jackhammer.
Yeah, I got none of it, man. And so over time the coal dust just builds up, and now the belt's hitting it and things like that, and the roofs are sinking down. So we would go in, we would essentially shovel out the sides of the belt to be able to bring and knock the cribbing out. And cribbing is like block that like stacks up to hold the roof up.
Jesus.
So we would go in, like pull a piece and see if the roof's gonna fall. We'd like go into the get outside of the belt line, so that we could, like, if it collapsed, it wasn't collapsing on us. We could get like in a safe zone almost. You'd hear it fall down. We would go back into the mine to like check it to make sure it was good. Start picking up all these boulders and shit that fell from the roof, piling on the belt, and then we would go in, and our job was to build steel sets over top of the belts.
Did you ever see anyone get hurt in that process?
Oh yeah, man. That was kind of what made me quit, man. That was the one thing where I'm like, this isn't it, dude.
What happened?
So what we'd have to do is we'd build these steel sets over the belt to protect it from the roof cave-ins.
Mm-hmm.
And these are like, I mean, it's corrugated metal and steel, and you're to build these things, right? And the top is like, there's nothing worse like you just smack your head off bolts and shit, because you're crouched down the whole time. And I was in there working with the guys in Wheeling, West Virginia, man. The opiate epidemic is crazy, right? Everyone, a lot of people, not everyone, a lot of people though. Yeah. And I remember, like, I was underground, and I would watch the crew leads that I was with just be like blowing pills right off their lunch pails in between shifts, right? Yeah. And I'm like sitting there, just like, dang, dude, I'm 20,
snorting them Percocets.
Yeah, I'm 20 years old watching
popping
this.
pee,
pushing pee, right, man. And so, but it was like, it is what it is. But this is like our crew leader. This is the guy that was fucking keeping me safe.
Blue collar leadership,
right? Blue collar leadership, man.
Blow hard.
And dude, so for us, what we'd have to do is like we'd have to time it up where they would either stop the belt for us for a second, right? So we could get the beam to go across. You have guys on one side, guys on the other side. So we would like, hey, stop the belt. They'd kill it which they hated even doing. They're pretty much like, do it with the belt running, figure it out, because we don't want to stop it.
God damn.
Right? And so we would have 2 or 3 guys on one side of the steel beam to like leverage it over. Another guy would be on the other side and try to like catch it across so that you could keep the belt running. Dude, and these belts are, I mean, they're zooming, bro. And so if you drop something on that, bro, it's done, right? And so we were trying to do it, and it was a dude that was all, yanked out of his mind. And he was like, no, we're just going to do it with the belt running. We're cool. And he went to stick it across, man, and it like slipped out of his hand. And I was like part of the guy holding it. And it hit the belt, dude, and bounced up, and then just went, I mean, a dude ducked, almost ripped a dude's head off, and it was like going down the belt line, just like smacking shit and blowing out any supports that it had to, and that day was the day where I'm like, I gotta get the fuck out of here, man. Yeah.
I gotta get reckless with my entrepreneurial
no
skills.
shit, man. That was kind of I gotta get out of here, but it wasn't then. I wasn't done from there, right? Mm-hmm. Because now I got out of the mine because I ended up getting hired on at a gas plant called with Williams Energy, and I was an operator technician there for 5 years. So spinning valves, building out pipelines, doing all the operations work.
That's like an electrical company, right?
It's a midstream gas processing plant. Same. I mean, dude, you're talking natural gas.
Oh God.
Right, and so like, dude,
blow up
100%, right? And it's like we'd have to be, if we had to bleed a tank off or something, you just like let it go. It's like clouds of just moving around. You're like, man, if someone
That can't be good for
if
you.
someone lights up a joint here, we're blowing this whole thing up. You
Oh
know what I mean?
God! Don't let me down there.
And so I went there, and I was there for 5 years, and same thing. Like our schedule was you did all 12-hour days.
How long were you down there?
I was for 5 years, 5.5 years. I was
Oh,
there.
are you fucking kidding
Yeah.
me?
Yep.
Jeez,
So.
did you get depressed during that time period?
Oh, so that eventually was the thing that kind of changed my perspective, because it was like and again that's why
you got paid more than $15 an hour though.
Yeah, so we were $20 an hour.
Oh, big raise.
Right, but at home you're making but you're also working
Plus
80 hours a
overtime.
week. Right, and you're working 80 hours a week. So I was making probably $100,000 or so. working there.
Damn,
Yeah.
$20 an hour adds up to $100,000.
Yeah, that's some hustle, dude.
That's hustle,
Yeah.
blue collar grit.
That's it. And so, but same thing, now I'm here and working this and just miserable, bro. I'm depressed. My relationships there weren't good. I wasn't a good human. Like, it was like 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, right? My family owned a pub, an Irish pub. And so, like, I was there all the time. And you know what I mean? Like, dude, I was just, all the things that I said I didn't want to be, I was being. You know what I mean? And I'm like, man, I got to get out of here.
You think that had to do with hanging around your hometown?
I think, well, when you're more exposed to it, yeah, right? Because here it's like I don't run in circles where I see those kind of things as much, right? And so that part of it is that, and there's like not much to do, right? And so like people aren't kind of, the self-development mindset, the people that we were around, like I didn't have a lot of that there,
But don't you think that they condition us for that? Don't you think that they want people in West Virginia to go to the coal mines?
100%, yeah.
That they don't want them to think like entrepreneurs?
I think that it's easier to keep people stuck.
Yeah.
Right, and because when you step out and start seeing things, and they build it up in your mind to be scary, right? To me, I'm like, I need this secure job and insurance and this 401k.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like the best thing the 401k ever did for me was when I moved to Columbus, I cashed it out and
got some real estate, motherfucker.
They taxed me 50% on it, and it put some money in my pocket, and I brought that here.
And
that's
how you rolled.
That's how I rolled, dude. So yeah, so eventually, what happened was we ended up going up to. Me and a couple buddies went to a game at Ohio State. Come up here to Columbus for one weekend. This was 2017, Penn State versus Ohio State.
What, you and Zeke, was it?
Yeah, Zeke was one of them.
Nice.
Yep, Zeke and a buddy Jake and Eric. And we come up. I mean, I'll never forget it, dude. It was like I remember walking out of the bar that night, and it was just like I always say it was like a God thing. You know what I mean? Because I was like looking up, and I was like, man, something about it is just like this overwhelming. Like this is where you need to be. And on the way home, I was looking up jobs on Indeed while we were driving back home to Wheeling, and
every time you hear success from an entrepreneur, it's that they followed their gut feeling.
Every time, man.
Every fucking time.
Every time.
If everybody would just do that.
Yeah, it's just you gotta capitalize when you get it. You know
but
what
it
I mean?
ain't easy.
No, it ain't easy because the thing is that it's also thinking like, what if it's the wrong thing?
No shit.
But
that's what everybody fucking thinks.
Right. But 9 times out of 10, the right thing was the wrong thing.
So how long ago did you get to Columbus?
So that would have been 5 years ago.
5 years.
5 years, yeah. And so
you're not a salesman.
No, I mean I knew that I could be. You know what I mean? Like I knew I had verbal
hustle.
skills and hustle and things like
You
that.
could pick up ladies at the bar.
Yeah, I mean I'm a charmer. You know,
Yeah.
I got some charisma.
Right.
But I and so on the way home I'm looking, and I found a job. It was doing door-to-door sales for AEP Energy for $10 an hour plus commission.
Nice.
And in my mind I'm like, man, like I just need something to go to. Like I just gotta have, and it was almost because I knew that. So the pitch was like, how you doing? I'm Mike with AEP Energy. I don't know if you.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know if you're aware of it, but do you have any idea the difference between the generation bill that you have? And they're like, what's that? Like,
what's the generation bill?
So that's your utility bill, right? That's what you pay. Your majority of people automatically are with AEP Energy, and you can actually decide who your distribution comes from.
Oh, nice.
Right, and so I
saw that big building.
So I can
America Electric Power.
Yep,
right?
Yep. And so what I can do is I can give you a set rate. So rather than being with AEP and having the validity of the market, I'm able to get you this set rate, and so that you'll know where you're going to be at. Your bills are kind of like you're good.
So you were practically selling solar.
Pretty much, yeah. Give me your electric bill.
Fucking solar panels.
Right. Give me your electric bill, and every deal
God
we
damn
did.
It, that was perfect training for you.
Right,
bro.
$25 is what I got for a deal that I locked up.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, bro.
Were you slaying?
Yeah, I was slaying. It was. And
what was your best week?
But dude, listen. So it was. When I moved here, it was December.
Yeah.
So I did door-to-door sales in December was when I started. And
Fucking Columbus, Ohio.
in Columbus, Ohio, bro. And I literally, when I made the decision, I'm like, I'm doing it. Within 3 weeks of that day, we came back from Columbus. I cashed out my 401k, loaded up my truck, and just came here.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and didn't have a plan
Where
other
did
than
you
this.
stay?
So I had a friend of a friend. Like I knew a guy that knew a guy up here.
Couch surfing.
Yep. Stayed on his couch until I could find a place to live.
Couch surfing,
Yeah,
son
man.
of a bitch.
Yeah.
And the American dream got started.
Bro, and it was literally like I had this, you know, you have my truck now, my F-150, right? So I had a Lariat back then, but I was way over leveraged, couldn't afford it, wanted to fit in, all the things that you need to be cool, right? And so went and bought this truck, and when I got here, I'm like, I can't afford the truck payment no more. I can't afford the gas on it. I can't park this bitch anywhere in Columbus. I'm driving all over the place. So I had to, you know, essentially take negative equity on it. Got a Toyota Corolla. Right, just to get a car that I could, you know, was feasible and I could afford at this point. So didn't get my truck, and I'm like, man, when I can come back and buy this shit in cash, I'm gonna get this same truck again. That's where my F-150.
That's a beautiful wrap on that, some bitch too, boy.
Yeah, and so
how long did it take you to get the money to put up $10,000 for coaching? Because I mean,
3 years.
saving $10,000 is hard for people.
Yeah, I would say 3 years.
3 years?
3 years. Yeah, and
like now with your guys, since you started the company, you know, you got a guy like Nate. You know, how long did it take Nate to get his first $10,000 check?
Month 2.
Month fucking 2?
Yes.
What the fuck?
Month 2. Yep.
Isn't that a good feeling? Isn't that a fucking good feeling?
Yeah, man, it's an incredible feeling, and that's what I look at. You know, with Columbus Roofing, it's like, to me, it's like a vocational.
Yeah.
Right? I'm teaching these guys real estate investing. I'm teaching them just in the things that I get to learn from people like you and Ryan and all these resources. I'm like, that's what makes what we have valuable, because anybody can go start their own company and do it. But go find the resources that I have and think you're going to beat me, because you're not.
So where did this transformation start, where you became this reckless CEO?
Well, and so essentially, I made no money when I was doing the AEP door-to-door sales, right? I was like going through everything I had. I'm like, this is bad.
This is bad. The commissions are not big enough.
No. I actually got on with a cemetery. And so I started selling grave plots.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers dying to get in that motherfucker.
Dude, they were dying to see me, bro.
Oh, shit.
And so they, so I ended up, I got hired on at Green Lawn Cemetery, which is downtown Columbus. My first month, I sold an above-ground mausoleum for $85,000 and made
Are you shitting
swear
me?
to God, made a $12,000 commission check. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Dude.
Yeah, and that was, so then was like, okay, now I kind of got something, right? And
what did that guy do?
Well, the guy that he owned a chain of dental offices.
So he's inspiring you in his death.
Bro, listen to this shit. So he and this is where, to me, I like try to tell our guys, like, dude, pay attention. Right? Like you know when opportunity comes.
You even learning from dead people. You fucking learn. You're trying to learn some shit.
I learned empathy. I learned sympathy. I learned communication. I learned to be able to, you know, change my tone. I had to talk to elderly people. I had to slow down. I had to connect with them. Hardest moments. I had to liaison them through these you know, these things that it's the worst.
How often do people buy that before they die?
I mean, dude, I was selling a couple $100,000 a month. In cemetery plots. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so great. I mean, your average.
So you came up on that.
Yeah, that was my thing, right?
That was your come up.
Yeah, and so I actually ended up within about 8 weeks of being there. They promoted me to managing, and then I had 4 other locations across Ohio.
God dang, dude!
Yeah,
plots on plots.
Yeah, so I had 3 up in like Dayton area up there. Then I had 2 down here in Columbus, and I did that, but it was like, this isn't it, right? I'm like, this is cool, but this ain't it.
It's not enough purpose, not enough impact.
Exactly, right? I'm like, I got what I got out of it, what I needed out of it. It's time to go.
Point?
So I was probably making. Again, but I also, when I left Wheeling, like, I was not in a good position to leave Wheeling. Like, I had $5,000 in, dude, I was buried in debt. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, made all the dumbest decisions. And that's why I tell people now, I'm like, there's never a right time.
No.
Make the time. And just
commit now, figure it out later.
That's it, figure it out, man. Because it always works out. And that's what, you know, we were talking about when you invest. Like, once you make that commitment to something like that, you realize how just like, is what it is.
Right.
I'll throw $10,000 away again or $50,000 away again. I'll lose. I've lost $100,000 on investments. You know what I mean?
But
it's
the
just
reality
like
is if you're putting it towards personal development, it's almost like I'm paying so I pay attention, and I'm telling the world that I ain't fucking quitting on this shit.
I consider it almost the same thing when you look at tithing to the church.
It's very similar,
right? When there's a reason they want you to tithe. One of the play off, you got to support the church.
Put your money where your mouth is.
That's it, bro. When you start investing in a church, when you invest in a church, you're going to pay attention a little more. You're going to pay attention to God. You're going to pay attention to these things. They're no different than a mentorship, right? And so, but yeah, so I did that. Ended up getting to the point. I'm like, man, this sucks. This ain't it. You know, what's the next thing? I had a friend that brought up to me, he said, man, have you ever heard of wholesaling real estate? And I'm like, no, what's that? And he's like, oh, well, you can essentially make money with no money. Here's how you do it. All it's super easy and all this shit. He was really trying to get me to work for him. And I'm like, okay, cool. Let's like look into it, right? So I'm like studying it, this and that, and he ends up moving away. So like I felt like I had some life to me. I'm like, oh shit, like in between work, I'm checking this stuff out and watching videos and shit, trying to learn on it. And he moves away. And I'm like, man, that was kind of I felt like I had something there. You know what I mean? Like that was kind of like life again. And that's where I'm like, dude, fucking, like I gotta figure this shit out. And I just started like YouTubing, wholesaling real estate mentorships.
Your first deal, you got it, but then you didn't get it.
So I ended up, like I said, the whole thing where I flew out to Arizona, went through that, invested in the course. I had $5,000 saved up, $5,000 on credit cards, maxed it out, back to zero again, debt back up again, right? So like everything I just fixed, I was right back in the hole on it. Flew out there, and it was everything I needed to. Like it wasn't, hey man, here's how you do it, come back here to be successful. But it got the motion going. Like investing in that was the first time. Once I came back, I'm like, man, I got to read books. I got to get into real estate. I got to listen to podcasts. I didn't do any of that up to this point.
And you also started hanging around these people.
Hanging around the people, right? And so it's like, okay, so I'm still working my job, but doing this real estate thing on the side, trying to figure it out, lunch breaks, going and showing houses, talking to people, networking, Facebook, building group, like you can see the crowd that came yesterday. Like that's the shit that I've been doing for 5 years now, just kind of building it and cultivating these relationships. And I ended up getting a deal in contract. And I'm like, this is it. This is a good deal. I knew that it was. But just like these real estate communities, everyone got money until they got to buy a house, right? That's how it is. And everyone wants the best deal. And they're going to tell you that you don't know the numbers on it and this and that. And so I'm shopping it out to all these guys. Like, nah, man, I need you to be here on it. I need you to be here. I'm like, well, I can't do that. Like, I'm not making no money on this. I know what this thing's worth. I'm not going to take anything less than that. And so at that point, I had built a great relationship with the homeowner. And I'm like, man, like, I can't back out of this deal, bro. I got to figure it out. I'm a man of my word. Like I told him I'm buying this deal in 21 days. I got to close this bitch. You know what I mean? And so all the buyers that I had backed out on me. And at that point, I just start calling friends and family. And I ended up getting, about 80 grand together between people that I knew lending me 20 grand here, 20 grand there. I mean, I didn't make $1 off this deal when it was done because I gave equity up. I just wanted the deal. I'm like, if I can just get it and figure it out, I'll do it. I found a contractor that was willing to partner with me. He ran the construction deal. He brought the other side of the funds, and we did it together. And at that moment, literally when that house happened, I quit my job and jumped on. I'm like, I'm gonna figure this real estate shit out.
All in.
And then I just started doing some deals while that one was getting built. And it was kind of the, Robin Pater to pay Paul construction stuff, right? I'm like, started a construction company, going through that. I'm like, real estate's, it's great, but it's taking money from the thing that money needs to stay in. I'll get this construction money, a construction company going. So now I can at least pay myself to do the deal, do it for other investors,
right?
Kind of handle those things. And so that was kind of the, the evolution. And eventually looking at it, I'm like, fuck, dude, a $20,000 bathroom takes me 2 weeks. There's 5 trades to go through. This ain't it. Roofing.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Right? It's like, dang, man. It's like the exterior game is the game, man. You're in it. It's
roofing, siding, windows, doors.
It's a day, 2 days work, and your margins are much higher. You have one trade coming in there, so you're not managing all these things, right? Any brother
the exterior, so they can't pick your job apart so much.
100%. They don't exactly, and it's just like and you can do it without inconveniencing the homeowner. That's the biggest part. The hardest part doing these.
A roof is pretty big inconvenience for.
But it's not, because most people can sit inside and not even know the roof's getting done.
Nah, I don't know about that.
I mean, maybe if you're in Florida dealing with.
Well, basically, it pisses people off hearing the noise. My mom, she's a counselor, and so she was getting a roof done one time.
Yeah.
And she's constantly trying to do her counseling sessions, and they're putting on a big old flat roof, and so these big rolls of TPO are heavy as shit.
Yeah, they're smacking, and
when you drop them, dude, the whole thing shakes.
Yeah.
And they're dropping this big shit. And my mom calls me because I know the guy who's doing the job. We didn't get it; someone else did. And she's like, "Lee, you call that guy. You tell him it's disrupting, and there's a problem, and all this roof." And I said, "Mom, do you realize we put on thousands of roofs a year and we do this to people every single day? I'm sorry, but you're being a Karen." Just
right. But even in that, it's still different than having to send them in, redo their kitchen, uproot their life, right? And so that was, to me, like, that's where it all made sense. And then seeing that, through doing the real estate stuff, having the events, connecting, I'm like, I kind of have built this little tribe, right? That people are kind of like watching me and following me, support, right? And it was like, okay, maybe there's something here. Like, how can I leverage that? Because that's what I knew I needed to do. I'm like, there's got to be a way in real estate and in growing my investment business. Looking at it, I'm like, man, like for me to have 10 sales guys, for each of them to be making money, I can't do it in real estate.
It's
investing.
hard, man.
The margins aren't there.
No.
It's a difficult market here. There's a lot of overhead expense and marketing and all of these things where the roof thing to me made so much sense because I'm like, margins are bigger.
Hey, my name's Lee, and I think I see some storm damage on your roof, and your neighbors, they're not pulling their hard-earned money out of their bank account or their 401k. They're getting their new roofs paid for by the insurance, and I think you might have some damage. And if I do an inspection, you may qualify for a roof paid for by your insurance too. I want to make sure you don't waste $20,000. Let me take a look at your roof. That's an easy motherfucking pitch.
That's a pitch, and from there, that guy makes $2,500 off that, $3,000 off that, or more, right? And so for me, it was really the roofing was everything. Was like the quantum leap that came together because it was like. I learned business to this point, right? I've done some things, so I started to figure some things out. Learned marketing, learned operations, sales, service, all of that stuff. And then on top of that, I was like, this is an industry that everybody that works with me can make money. It's not the Mike thing. This isn't my investing company. It's everyone's going to be about me. It's like, no, dude, my top sales guy makes more money than I do.
So you went out, you sold 3 roofs.
Yeah.
On your own.
Yeah, and so
you watch YouTube to learn.
Yeah, yep, and so I
just on that YouTube,
dude. Literally, I was YouTubing the insurance process, how to do some inspections, things like that, and then I had a couple friends that had houses, so I'm just like, hey man, like I think I might be able to get your roof taken care of through your insurance. Like, can I try it out on you? They're like, yeah, man, go ahead. Got up there, and my first deal was a friend of mine got his roof covered for him, and I'm like, well, shit, this thing's real, right? And then I connected with an adjuster who. It ended up being a storm hit Worcester, Ohio, and the adjuster, him and I had built a relationship for like last 2 months while I was kind of building my business. The storm hit, they couldn't handle it. He's like, Mike, send all your sales guys up here because I need help on inspections, and like anyone that doesn't have a roofer, I'm giving them to you. We went from doing 3 roofs the first month. In May, I think we did like $60,000. I sent the guys up there like the 21st or 25th of May. In June, we did $490. In July, we did $500. So we went from nothing to $1.2 million in volume within like 65 days.
Oh shit!
Talk about breaking a fucking business, and it's an hour away.
And basically, you just sign up for a mastermind at the end of May. Yeah, and I give you my complete roadmap, and a lot of times people are like, oh my god, this is so much information. I'm drinking water from a fire hose. I need time to do this. I've got so much work to do. Now's not the right time. Somehow you have enough time in this busy fucking moment to also always show up to coaching, be a good student. And how do you balance when you're fucking busy as hell also learning?
Man, I think that there's seasons for it, right? There's seasons where you have to consume more, and there's seasons that you got to take action more. For me, it was like I knew, like I was telling you earlier, like coming into roofing because I'd done masterminds with real estate, and I already knew the game. So like when I got into roofing, I literally called any of my friends that knew a guy that might be in roofing and whatnot. I'm like, who do I talk to? Who do I pay money to learn from? Like I don't care about, hey, coach me for a year. I'm like, give me everything you got, and so I can figure it the fuck out as fast as I can. I don't need time. I need resources. And so at that point, like, I just came into the business with a different understanding of, like, I'm not here to learn, how to install a roof. I'm here to learn how to grow this business, right? And, like, what are the things that I'm good at, and then literally delegating everything else.
Dude, you really are a reckless CEO.
That's it, bro. And that's how the reckless CEO happened, right? Nice. It was, to tie it back to that, right, was like, a coach of mine, Ryan Nidell, he's always like, man, you're best suited to teach the person you used to be, right? And so when I'm thinking like, man, I want to get into some coaching and consulting as my thing grows, I'm like, who is my client, right? What's my client look like? And I'm like, man, like that client to me is like kind of reckless. It's like that reckless and abandoned, like, you know your worth, you possess something great, but you just don't know how to kind of get it out there.
That's the poker player that says, fuck it, I'm all in.
Right. But
I'm all in, motherfucker.
And you win, right? Yeah. It's like you continue to win. It's like things happen, like, yeah, you might be breaking the business and losing shit and this and that, but somehow you're coming up out on top. And people are following you, and it's like things are happening. And so to me, it's like that's that reckless CEO, right? It's like just being so willing to fucking go out to do shit you don't know what you're doing, but so committed to you and the vision that you have that it's like that to me is what the reckless CEO is.
There's a Bradley dropping bomb.
Yeah. So that was kind of the whole.
Fuck yeah, bro! I love that shit, man. I mean, look, It's been inspiring to work with you, dude. Seeing somebody that really has become a social sales king, somebody that has built a team that's all about culture, leadership, and branding, the stuff that we talked about last night. Like last night, we had a big event. We had 60 plus people there. There was contractors, entrepreneurs, investors, realtors, salespeople. I'm looking around the room. I'm like, dude, this only started 15 months ago. Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy?
It is. Dude, that's the coolest part about it, man. Like, I know you probably feel like this too because you do your events. Like, there's so much like fucking power in just being a creator.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when you get that feeling of like, man, I want to have something, and then you put the movement on to make it happen, and you get the people to get behind you and do it. It's like, how the fuck did a guy not from this city come here, get a name like Columbus Roofing Company,
right?
You know what I'm saying? And then like build this sales team, build where we're at, and then seeing all these people come out, I'm like, dude, you can literally do anything you want if you just like the story you tell yourself is what matters, because no one else's perception of you is what's important. Because if you believe you got fucking shit to say and that you're great, bro, your belief is everything, because that's what everybody can get behind.
Hey, what's some of the unconventional stuff that you picked up from me that you apply, that you know, some of the stuff that might have helped you?
Unconventional. What do you mean by that? Like
just things that are not normal or?
No, I mean, I think that a lot of it, dude. I think that the side of the social side is so important.
That's
man.
really what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and that's to me everything, right? And it's that, you know, so many contractors look past that and they care about, you know, what people think of them or their families. And like one thing I really learned from you is like, dude, fuck what those people think about you, because if they've been following you from now and they ain't bought nothing from you, then they don't fucking matter.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's the new eyeballs you get are the ones that matter, man.
Yeah.
And it's not about, you know, speaking to everybody. It's speaking to the right ones.
Right.
Right. The right ones out there are listening, dude. And like we said yesterday, dude, I don't care if it's 10 people. Those 10 people's life could be impacted, and then what are they going to do from there to the next person, right? And so with you, it was just being I think that really helped me to see is like, man, like, and then meeting you and the, you know, just you're such a good guy and the character and integrity, and I'm like, man, like, he's just like me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
like
one thing that you've done better than me is you've got your team to participate.
Yeah.
In the social sales king approach. If you do it, they do it. And as a team, can you talk about how that has really blown up? Like the tagging each other, the posting all the time, always on a roof and sharing the wins.
Yeah.
How's that spread it? Because I mean, that's not even paid advertising.
No, and that's and I think those are the two sides of it, right? Because a lot of people are, you know, paid ads, do all these things, which all of that is great. You have to do that, right? But when you can start to, you know, create this concept of the intrapreneur, that's where the power's at, right? With my people, I tell them all the time, like, I always compare it to sports, right? I'm like, listen, man, every team needs a Tom Brady, and they need that Randy Moss, and they need the Bill Belichick, and then Robert Kraft, right? You look at NFL teams, and you'd love to be a wide receiver,
right?
Why wouldn't you want to be a sales guy here when we can do the same fucking thing,
dude?
Right?
Everybody's biggest problem in blue collar is, how do I find skilled workers? How do I find salespeople? How do I get people to want to work for me?
Right. And
how do you do it?
Man, it's inspiring people. It's having that vision, and it's having so much belief in that vision that it's like people just grab it. Dude, people need a leader. People need someone to gravitate towards. They need somebody that empowers them to see a version of themselves that they can't see for themselves, right? And someone that truly believes in that, feeds into them, and makes them feel that, like, damn, bro, this guy really does want my success.
Yeah, dude, your vibe attracts your tribe, and if you want to fix your business, it starts at the top. You started with yourself,
100%.
And look what's happened, dude.
Yeah.
Like, and I look at the quality of people. Even my guy Levi, I was like, dude, he's got some studs. Look around, man. Like, there's a look, there's a style, there's a personal development, core value, and
I think that's what the core values, right? Like, to me, it's like those are those little things that I think small business owners overlook. And so they just start bringing people in, and people don't fit culture. And I had a team of that last year, right? I had, you know, we had a pretty big staff, and I literally came back into this season with one guy from last year's. You know, we did $3.2 million last year.
After all that success and recognition, talk about the feelings that, you know, going down to one person gave you.
Right, that was the flesh, right, man. When I found out that guy was trying to recruit my people and was going to pay him more money than I could pay him or had paid him and all of these things, and it was like, man, like, I sent you guys up to Worcester to this storm with a relationship that I created. I paid every single person a flat 10% of whatever the company's volume was. Like, it wasn't
Somebody came in, offered more money for your people.
Yeah, it wasn't like I told my guys like, hey, whatever deal you inspect, if you close it, you get it. Like, no, you're getting paid 10% of whatever our total volume is as a company, each rep, to just go inspect these things for me. That's what they got. And so like when this guy comes in, he's like, oh, I'm gonna offer you 13%. Our guys are like, that's 3% more than what we got. I'm like, I just gave you $1.6 million in volume for. What do you mean? You didn't do the work for that. That was a relationship that I created. I would have rather went out there and inspected them all and put the money in my fucking pocket. But guess what? Because of the way that it stretched us so thin, I didn't make no fucking money by the time that was done.
Right.
They all got everything, right? And so when someone comes in and I see that the people that I thought had my fucking back didn't have my back, like that was a slap in the face, man.
Kick in the gut.
It was.
It's a fucking gut punch.
It is, man, because it's like, dude, I truly believed that I would take a bullet for these guys, and I realized that they wouldn't do the same for me. And that's just game. That's business, man. That's the business. That's the game of life. And that was such a good lesson that had to happen for me because I realized that I thought I was creating culture, and I wasn't. Right?
What did you do differently?
Man, what I did, I think one is that, like, first align my core values. That was it, right? What my core values are like. What does core values look like? What are they like? No, they're me. What are my values? What are
yours?
So we say the acronym's PIST, right? And so it's
pissed off for greatness. I'm pissed off for greatness.
It's this. So it's positive. It's integrity. It's solution oriented. It's direct and driven. Like those are, and then we have definitions to inside of that of what they are, right? And so. But like once I realized that like that was kind of who I was and what I was, then it was like, okay, I just got to find the guys now that align with that, and being more stringent on who I bring in, because when you first start, it's a pulse. I need bodies, I need people, I need, and so you just start bringing all these people in, and it's more quantity than it is quality, and you realize that like that's not going to get you far, right? Because you're spending time, energy, resources on people that don't deserve it. Right. And it's not saying that they don't deserve, but they don't, right? It's like unless they're giving it back and actually willing to, reciprocate and be open to it, then you're just wasting your time trying to pull people along all the time. And so for me, like realizing the things that as a leader, I had to stick to the things that I said were important, right? If someone didn't fit the culture, I was really good at being like, oh yeah, well, but they'll get it. You know what I mean? Like they'll show you day one that they're not the right person, and you wait till day 31 to fire them. That's what breaks your team apart. Yeah. Because everyone around there's looking at you as this leader saying, man, here's our core values, you're this, you're that.
That don't mean shit. This motherfucker
don't mean shit. And that's where so many businesses I think go wrong. It's like they're scared of, oh man, I need the person. We tell ourselves we need these people rather than realizing that you are the people.
That's a fucking another bomb.
Right? Once you realize that and you build that energy and bring that into something, now it becomes contagious, right? And like when you look at our team of guys, dude, these are guys that they not everyone came from great homes, not everything came like this is a family to us, right? Like we literally love each other, we have each other's back.
What I love is that eventually you got your boy who came here with you, Zeke. He's watching this shit. Yeah, and he's back in West Virginia.
Yeah, so him and I had opened up a gym together back in Wheeling before, like 2 years prior to me leaving. And so I helped him with that, and I didn't even take, like, partnership in it. He was like, man, like, I want you to be, 50-50 with me, and I knew that I was leaving. Like, I knew in my head I needed to get out of here. 2 years before I left, I'm like, I can't commit to that because I don't know, but what I did was, I had a pretty decent job, so I invested in the gym and, put equipment in there for him and helped him do everything, and it was him and I painting the floors and, going and getting the coal mine belts was our floor mats.
Oh shit!
Yeah, man, we actually got it dropped in F-150, and we get it to the gym. We're like, how the fuck we get this thing out of here? And so him and I sat there, dude. This thing was, it weighed a ton, bro. It was just a coal mine belt like rolled up, and they just like dropped it in the truck with a forklift.
Oh shit!
And we get it there.
No forklift to get it out.
No forklift to get it out. We're like, man, what the fuck are we gonna do, dude? Him and I went up to the store and got razor blades.
Started cutting it up?
Yeah, he sat on one side of it, I sat on the other side. For 6 hours straight, him and I razor bladed sheet by sheet to be able to cut this belt in half so that we could get it out of my truck.
Damn, that's sweat equity that's paid back.
That's that sweat equity. But like you said, right? And so it's like I kind of helped him get his dream and build all that. And, as I came here and started getting things, him and I have just always been super tight, man. We've been friends for 10 years, and I've watched him become an incredible dad and everything that he's done. And he was really like the first entrepreneur that I met, which is really cool, right? It's like he had this vision of all these things, and I was scared, kind of, right? I didn't like jump in on it with him. I was like, man, that looks cool. This guy, he knows these things, and And so it was awesome to be able to help him do that. And then, you know, when I got things up here with Columbus Roofing Company, you know, facilitated and things like that, like I literally, you know, we had those, you know, 10, 15 phone calls back and forth. And, you know, eventually I'm like, bro, either fucking nut up or shut up, dude.
Pack your fucking bags.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, sell the gym, get rid of it. I'm telling you, coming here is going to get you to where you want to be way faster. Dude, you and I can
People are sometimes afraid to do that to people. They're afraid to tell them.
Tell them, man.
They're afraid to say, dude, you're fucking up.
Yeah.
Drop everything you're doing.
Well, I think that's one of the you know, most valuable things I can say in my life has been putting myself around people or putting myself into a situation that has forced accountability.
Mm-hmm. Like when you're doing these coaching calls and I'm talking about recruiting all the time and I'm fucking constantly drilling this, like shoulder tapping, events, and fucking you hearing this, you're showing up to calls every single week. This is in the back of your head, right?
You gotta do it. You gotta do it, man.
You're paying for it.
You're paying for it, right?
$60,000.
Yeah.
I mean, if you pay for it, you better pay attention.
100%. And that's where it's like, you know, when I first did my first outside the investing thing, I got in with Ryan, right? And when I connected with him, you know, it was like I found him on Facebook, and I'm like, this guy's like doing psychedelics and talking about business, and he's swole. I'm like, that's the kind of fun guy I want to be around. He's like, cool shit, you know what I mean? And so I remember, and I reached out to him. I blew him up on Instagram, on Facebook, and at this point, like, you know, I had done some real estate stuff, but I had failed. It, you know, it wasn't like really growing, right? I'm like barely getting by. And I, you know, see this guy, and, you know, I messaged him a bunch of times, not getting back to me. Finally, he responded to an Instagram message of mine. And like, to me, I'm like, the squeaky wheel always gets the wheel, bro. You stay on it. And eventually he was like, yeah, man, like, what can I do for you, dude? Like, who the fuck are you, right? And I'm like, hey, man, like, I know you don't know me. I said, like, I came across your stuff, and I've been following you for a while, and, like, you know, I just want to know if you have, like, do you mentor people? Do you coach people? Like, something's just bringing me towards you, man.
Proximity is power.
That's it. And he's like, well, man, like, we jump on a phone call. And he's like, yeah, man, like, I only work with people that have businesses. Like, you don't have a business. You can call this a business, but you ain't making no fucking money, bro. And I'm like, yeah. And, like, but, dude, the conversation, man, like, I remember being in tears by the time that conversation was over, because it was just, like, so much alignment, right? It's like another one of those God things that just, like, boom, it happened, right? And we get off that, you know, we get off that phone call, and he's like, yeah, listen, man, like, meet me at, you know, this coffee shop here in 2 days. So I meet him there, and, you know, he's walking me through, and he's like, listen, man, like, I only took this meeting with you because there's a piece of me inside of you that I see. I wouldn't work with anybody like you. Like, if you weren't in Columbus, this wouldn't be a situation. Like, I've got coaching clients all over the world. Like, this is literally a one of a kind,
once in a lifetime opportunity.
That's it. And he's like, but
and he didn't ask you for 60,000.
No, but listen. So he's like, listen, man. He said, I get it. You want these things. A lot of people want these things. It's just how much you've been about getting in touch with me. Like, I can tell that you're serious about it. He said, but, you know, I don't have time to waste either. And he's like, so it's going to be $1,000 a month. And I was like, fuck, dude, I ain't got $1,000. I ain't got $1,000 my name. And I'm like, in that moment, I'm just like, okay. I was like, when do I need to get it to you? And he's like, we can start next month. And at that point, dude, I was in the bodybuilding community, things like that, bro. I was flipping steroids. I was whatever it took.
Whatever it took.
Literally, you know what I mean? I was just trying to
peddling.
I was, you know what I mean? Like, but it was all I knew that I had to leverage the resources and things that I had to just. It was like, it's a time, man. It's just, I just got to do what I got to do. And I committed to it, and I mean, I pay him $1,000 a month from 3.5 years ago, still to this day.
Well, thank you, because that guy dropped some fucking knowledge on me,
right,
dude.
Man.
Holy
but that's
shit.
That investment, right? It's like, man,
bro.
it's
and
like
I come here and I'm thinking all the values and what we're going to be doing together, and I'm not even really like thinking. I'm thinking, looking forward to the meeting with Brian, but I'm not thinking that it's going to be as impactful.
Yeah.
And he maps out this fucking plan to $1 billion, and he shows me exactly how he would execute it if he was sitting in my shoes, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
2-hour meeting. We were supposed to be out knocking doors, but I'm just like, dude, we can't go nowhere.
No. And that was where, you know, to me, man, I think that, you know, just like the alignment that you and I have had, right? Mm-hmm. And like, I know that you pour into so many people and you give yourself to so many people, man. Like, that's one of the, you know, the coolest things that I've seen with you, even when I'm down there in Florida with you, right? And like, all of your employees, just like, they have nothing but good things to say about you. Man, like, I've known Lee for, you know, 10 years, and like, he's brought me to where I'm at. Like, this is the thing, like, that's the part of me that I love about me, right? Like, that's what I do as well. And so, like, seeing that in you, and then the conversations we talked about a little bit around, you know, this potential sell and all of this stuff. And I'm like, man, like, how can I bring that? How can I give back to you a little bit, right? And so it was nothing of, obviously, I want you to come up in here and meet our guys, and I thought that was going to be extremely valuable. But it was like,
I knew it was going to be really valuable for me.
Yes, 100%. So I knew that, like, in the back of my mind, it was me being able to kind of put you on a little bit more than it was about me getting in front of my guys. I'm like, this is a good opportunity for you to connect with somebody, and it's a lot different than a phone call.
Well,
like, you got to see.
I was doing a little meditation this morning, and you were telling me that Ryan, you know, he's doing this deal now, but essentially he's on to the next thing, you know, and whatever we do, I want him involved.
Yeah.
You know, the reality is like however much involvement we can get him in the master plan, dude, whether it's on the board, whether it's a partner, I don't give a fuck.
Right.
You know,
it's all going to the same place.
That dude is a fucking stud, and I got to have him on my team.
Right.
You know, straight up.
100%.
I'll do whatever it takes.
Right. And I think that's the beauty in all of it, right? And like, that's where it's like you know, I never shy away from sharing resources with the right people. Right, because we know that it's like, for you to win, I'm winning, he's winning, we're all winning, right? This ain't this thing of like, man, we just want to do it for me. It's like, nah, bro, we're gonna do it for you.
Let me share some resources for everyone watching this or listening to this. Look, if you're listening to this podcast, all right, and you want to come to Florida to the Blue Collar American Dream Conference, look, I'm gonna award Mike 20 free tickets. Literally 20 free tickets for listeners that listen to this podcast, because I want to see a transformation happen. And last year, I had Dustin Poirier offer a scholarship for tickets. And this guy came in, he was a fighter, and he brought his buddy. And that's Daniel Clotos. And so their company's blossomed and grown, all because we gave this one free ticket. And so if anybody's listening to this, it's not about the money for me. It's just about these transformational stories that we've heard today. And you could be next. Whether it's in contracting, windows, roofing, siding, solar, it doesn't matter. Or maybe you're just trying to come in and be around a different vibe so you can attract your own tribe. Dude, I want you to take action. I want you to be the guy that a year or two from now is telling the same story Mike's telling right here, right now. So reach out to Mike. How can they get a hold of you? Yeah,
best ways to reach out to me is obviously through social media, right? At the Reckless CEO on every handle.
Hit him up on DM. Say, where are my fucking tickets?
Give me your ticket, man. Dude, that's incredible, Lee, right?
Yeah.
And those are those things, people, that you got to take advantage of, right? And one of the things I love about the Blue Collar American Dream Conference, dude, it ain't fucking roofing, right? So many people see what you and me and this, and they're, dude, it has nothing to do with fucking roofs.
No,
it's business, man. You're connecting with people. You're seeing things. Look at your story,
dude. It started in a coal mine, and fucking door to door, and then you're selling plots, and next thing you know, you're flipping real estate, and next thing you know, you're talking to a dude that, you know, at the time might not be worth $250 million, but worth $250 million now. Yeah. We hook up. Next thing you know, you got an 8-figure business. 15 fucking months. And, dude, it's incredible to be a part of it, man. I'm honored and really appreciate the hospitality.
Dude, I appreciate you interviewing me.
Hey, dude.
That don't ever happen. I'm like all excited to get everyone.
This is a fire fucking podcast.
This
you know
is
what
a
I was
fire
thinking?
Podcast.
I was thinking that, you know, I'll just put this up on my shit too.
Yeah, this is a good one, bro. We'll send it over. And we got a dope little studio, a little setup here, so it's cool.
So if y'all are watching this on my YouTube, dude, you need to fucking find him on the podcast, because look, this story right here, this is a story that really, the reason why I do it. This is what it's all about. And you know, this is what motivates me more than anything else.
Yeah,
not the money.
I love that, bro. You know, as we wrap up, man, what is, obviously for my listeners as well, best way to find Lee, man?
Best way to find me, Lee_Haight on Instagram, YouTube's got a ton of good content. Lee Haight. Come to the conference, obviously, but you know, dude, I started as a guy that dropped out of college. I worked at a car wash in my hometown. I was really talented and had a lot of potential, but here I am scrubbing tires, and you know, dude, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And that's where I started really taking my life seriously, straightened up, and I found my voice in Alcoholics Anonymous, telling my story for the first time. I realized, okay, I can do this public speaking thing, and you know, it was probably from ages 18 to 25 that I was a little bit of a, I was out there. I got together when I met my wife. This first year I did 8 figures. And 7 years ago, I hired Grant Cardone. After my uncle tragically passed away, he was a very successful businessman due to suicide. I wanted to carry the torch. And so I sold Grant Cardone a roof to build the brand. And I ended up buying millions of dollars worth of coaching. Like literally just like his story. I was desperate. I paid for coaching. And I needed to become a social sales king. I needed to learn how to advertise for profit. I needed to become that leader, and I needed to figure out how to build that Avengers team. And it all fell in place. It was a God thing, and it wasn't without courage, massive action, going through adversity. But now I got $100 million roofing company. We're creating $1 billion entity. We are creating, like, Mike's results is just one of about $400 million in results that we've helped generate for contractors. And to me, like, I never started this journey with that in mind. But now, you know, the idea of 100 blue collar multimillionaires, that guys like, dude, private equity and Wall Street are all in on our business because it's recession proof, it's cash flow, we're essential, and the fucking banks didn't used to appreciate blue collar, but now they're throwing fucking money at us.
Now they need us.
It's billions of dollars in opportunity, and I just, like, for me, like, raising the status for people like us, you know, I never thought that, you know, I would be sort of like a Wall Street guy.
Yeah.
But doing mergers and acquisitions now, I'm no longer a roofer. I'm a blue collar millionaire maker.
Yeah.
And it all started when I gave myself the title before I was one.
The Reckless CEO, right?
I said I'm a blue collar millionaire
crown
maker.
it, man.
You
You
gotta
have
crown
to.
yourself, dude.
It's that story.
You gotta fucking say it, dog.
No, I did, and you're doing all those things, man. Like I said, guys, anyone listening to this, you know, make sure you get out to me if you want to get a ticket to the event.
Dude.
It's gonna be my first big speaking event too.
September
So I'm
1st through
pumped
3rd.
about that.
Hell yeah, this guy's speaking. Wes Watson, Dave Meltzer, Bradley, Nick Santasanos, Gilbert Burns running a seminar for
Danny
jiu-jitsu.
Fleshman's gonna be there, right?
Dan Fleshman.
Huge, yeah.
Eric Spofford confirmed.
Yeah.
Eric speaking. So got a big fucking scale and exit team, guys. Ryan.
Yeah.
Ryan even is hopefully gonna get there.
Yeah. Well, you know.
We'll have to follow up.
We'll be on them. But no, definitely. I mean, anyone that's interested, reach out to me. We'll get you set up with it. Lee, I fucking appreciate you, dude.
Appreciate you, man.
I'm grateful for the friendship, the relationship that we've built, and
I'm grateful.
Looking forward to where this thing's gonna go, man. I think that there's a lot of cool stuff ahead of us, man.
Fuck yeah, guys. Well, I appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all next time.
Reckless CEO and Lee Haight, we out.